First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of today's lesson is more chaos. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this helped you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick news article here by CBS News, and it reads, Trump administration activates 700 Marines in Los Angeles area amid ICE protests. The military has activated about 700 active duty Marines who could be sent to Los Angeles, joining the National Guard troops who were sent to the city to respond to protests. U.S. Northern Command said in a statement, members of the Marine Corps could start arriving in the Los Angeles area as soon as Tuesday. A defense official told CBS News the Marines are based in 29 Palms, a city east of Los Angeles. So we're seeing now this is exactly what they want, to bring in the military. This is the beginning stages of what Trump would call a police state. So right now, that's why I titled today's lesson, More Chaos. It's exactly what they want. Order out of chaos, more disorder, more confusion, more disarray, more mayhem, more havoc and turmoil. That's exactly what they want. Commotion, they want the things to constantly pick up more uproars of the people. It's exactly what they want, so they can bring in, to do their bidding. What they want to do is lock down everything. Also, we're seeing that they are constantly using these crisis actors. This all propaganda. They are putting together. To rouse up Judah, the Negro. The so-called African American. So we already know what is it leading. So right now, a lot of our people thinking that they're not gonna be get touched by this, what's happening right now. But guess what? You're getting ready to get involved because you are the sole target. What they want is the black community. Also, I got a few videos that are saying that a few of these Latinos, these Northern Kingdom, saying that they're waiting for the black community to join them. That's exactly what Esau Edom want, what the so-called white man, but it's all by design of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We already know that things gonna get to popping. Right now, we just seeing that, they're protesting, they bringing in the National Guard, all by design, whether it's propaganda, whether it's crisis actors, but it's all through the spirit of power. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. More chaos, more mayhem. It's exactly what they want. Order out of chaos. So we already know they're saying that the Marines just going to be there just to help out with duties like helping the National Guard out, but not engaging in any arrest. So they just there just for presence. But we already know we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So exactly what they want: more chaos. More confusion. They want more havoc. More, once again, anarchy, So a lot of lawlessness is exactly what they're looking for, disorder and confusion to bring forth this new system, what they're constantly slowly putting into place. So we constantly seeing that this is slowly becoming a police state, Tartarian law. These things are coming upon us at a fast pace. So I did a lesson, I think it was about yesterday, I believe it was, kind of went into this, but now it's saying about the Marines. Also was a report that there was a Black Hawk landed in downtown LA. They said it was bringing supply, but a lot of reports that had not been confirmed said it was bringing ammo and different things like that. Don't want to get into it too deep, but anyway, it said that it was a Black Hawk helicopter that landed in L.A. So we gonna see how these things gonna constantly pick up. So right now we seeing that DJ Donald Trump and the governor of California going back and forth. But we already know this is all by design. And one thing about it, he trying to rouse Judah up, because we already know when Judah rouse up, who shall rise him up? We already know that all hell is going to break loose. Then we know that we are very close to World War III. We're seeing right now too, also in the news, Russia has attacked Sweden. You know what I'm saying? So it's reports coming in that basically Sweden, I think it was last year, they had joined NATO. Now all of a sudden now they had hit Sweden. So now we know that this is getting ready to be a broader war. Things are constantly picking up and the Lord is constantly moving the chess pieces around. So we already know if the Latinos, which in fact it's the northern tribe, get in collaboration with the southern tribe, we're knowing what time it is, So it says right here, just a little report here I got here. It says, after dissing, this right here by Yahoo News, something I'm just seeing in the spirit, so after dissing blacks, America, so-called black Americans, voting for Trump, Latino voters want black folks to join their fight, but said it is too late. No, it's not too late. It's going to happen. It says here, let's say, with President Donald Trump erecting mass deportation, attacking birthright citizenship, and targeting others civil rights. So some Latino Americans are organizing to protect their clear human rights violations, but in their call to action, said many are begging the black community to join their fight, and there's a couple of issues with this. So that's all I'm gonna get out of this, because one thing about it, the Lord is going to cause this to rise up. So we already know that these tribes are going to rise up. And one thing about it, a lot of us so-called black people, which in fact we're not black, we're the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. We know that black is a social construct. But one thing about it though is that we see they are slowly taking your rights away from you. They already taking away, talking about the Medicaid, already talking about STAMP benefits, telling you about Section 8, housing, different things like that, constantly taking it away from. Also, they are trying to make homelessness illegal. So when they evict you and you're homeless, guess where they're gonna take you? So you're being targeted too. Which in fact the northern tribe, they just trying to run them out of the country, but they want to unalive you. That's exactly what they want to do. The target is Judah. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it, we already knowing that the 2/3 they're going to get it popping. So that's right here. They're giving out a cry for the black community, the so-called black community, to help them out. But the Lord is going to do it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema. The Lord is going to cause a lot of things to happen, these events. And one thing about it, we know that the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, he's not in control. The Lord is in perfect control. So the Lord is going to cause these things to happen. These tribes are getting ready to rise up. It is called Jacob's trouble. A time of trouble that we've never seen before. So now, let's get a quick precept before we start today's video. Let's go here. It says, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we already know the physical counterpart of Satan is the so-called white man. He's do the bidding from the left-hand side. So he's trying to get that advantage. What he want, that advantage is what? Total control. Is exactly what he want, left and right, to make you a petrol slave. He started whether these riots, this protest was engineered and manufactured, but we already know where this is leading to. They want that result. They want you to rise up so they can bring forth their agenda. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get that advantage, which in fact it's the NWO, and said we are not ignorant of Satan's device. Who is that? Started with the prophets, also the true believers. We're not ignorant of Satan's device. His plan, his mindset, his agenda. So we're here, man. So we know that this man is getting ready to roll it out right before our eyes. He constantly plotting and planning You know what I'm saying? Each and every day. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we know that the devil is getting ready to fill his belly, his agenda, his devices, his plan, which in fact is total control. So now let's start today's video, and after the video we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
We have breaking news right now. It's official. Marines have been mobilized by United States Secretary Pete Hegseth to go to Los Angeles. A battalion of about 500 Marines has officially been mobilized, according to Natasha Bertrand at CNN. This is a significant escalation. And the Marines, according to reports, are really right now going to be just support role on the ground. Donald Trump has not invoked the Insurrection Act, which means that Marines, like the National Guard, cannot conduct law enforcement activities. They cannot make arrests right now. But 500 Marines are being mobilized as we speak. They will be arriving in Los Angeles potentially as soon as this evening. It's no longer just the National Guard on the ground. It will soon be Marines as well, according to latest CNN reporting. Folks, this is a significant escalation in this protest situation right now. And we're going to see what the Marines do, if anything, when they're on the ground in Los Angeles. As always, spread the word. I'll have a full breakdown on my Substack linked in bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for more.
You're running us over, you're shooting us, all because of the color of our skin. All because we have culture, we brought it here, and we are who we are, and we love it here, and we help people here. That's what we're known for. We help people, and yet we're getting terrorized. We're going through this. Our families are our babies are literally being ripped from our hands. If someone could please tell me if there's something we can do to help our people, please just imagine yourself in our situation. Imagine your people are being terrorized. They're being ran over. If you literally cannot have empathy for someone, I don't know what to tell you. You're an evil ass human being, and you need help, and you need God. You have no heart, and hell, there's a special place in hell for you. Karma is real, and God will take care of them. This is so heartbreaking. I don't know what we could do to help. I feel so helpless. I just want to help with something. I just want this to end. I just want there to be peace like there was. There was peace. I just want that. That's all I want for us.
Serious note, y'all, it's giving crisis actors. It's definitely giving crisis actors. They getting treated better than us. When we was in the streets, we was getting sprayed down. We wouldn't even made it to the prison cell. Forget being sprayed down. We would have been dead on the streets. They would have deployed the military. They not getting none of that type. This is control. This is control. It's giving crisis actors. That's what it's giving. That's what it's giving. Because whoa. How stupid do you think we is? Come on now. It's just so easy to see through that. It's just so easy to see through that. I'm just kind of confused. Like, they trying to make this a big thing, and it's controlled. It's control. It's giving crisis actors. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Come on, man. To the African American community that is standing with us in this fight, because you understand that not all of us voted for this, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a voice for the voiceless. For those stating that we voted for this, does it look like I wanted this? If you can't tell by now, I didn't vote for Trump. And I'm ashamed of the percentage of people in our community who did. Because they were granted the privilege to vote, and they voted against more than their people. So I understand why you feel betrayed. I understand why you're upset. But you have to understand that the problem is greater than you and me. I just want to say that the real Latinos, the ones that believe in community and supporting one another, will stand alongside you to fight against injustice, because we understand that one person's fight for human rights is everybody's fight.
Many people talking about martial law. Well, if you want to know when martial law will really be declared, is when and if the black community stands up with the Latino community and going against this ICE raid. And you got it right. This is what the government wants. This is why they're pushing the way that they're pushing. They want the black community in it. Now, I want you to take a look at the downfall of it, why so many blacks are standing to the side. We're not just helping ourselves. We're helping many other races. Because the moment a black face is shown out there, side by side with any other race that's going against the government, it's not going to be about deportation anymore. You might well say it's execution time. And we talk about martial law. Yes, it will be imposed. That's when you will hear martial law. But that's not what you need to worry about. It's what comes after martial law. Because once black, white, brown, yellow all get together to fight against this corruption, and they decide we're going to lock them up in their homes like animals, that's when they're going to see the true strength of Americans. And I say American because there ain't no race then. It's a group of people that are tired. So black people coming into it, I'm going to promise you one thing. It's going to be much bigger than what it is. They want us worse than they want you. They're going to try to get out of here. Us, we already know what they got in mind for us. But they need to understand. We know and we're prepared. They need to get ready for what's really taking place.
I just want to say, watching these raids happen in LA right now, people voted for this. People voted for this, and I think right now the black and the brown community, we need to come together, and we need to remember that they are the ones who made it us versus them. They put us against each other because if we're busy fighting each other, we don't put our eyes on them. We need to wake up. Everybody needs to wake up.
I don't believe all these people are Asians. I think that's why they wear these masks. Because I don't believe all of them are federal agents. That's just my opinion. If you see some of these detainment videos and with them trying to disperse the crowds right now, watch some of them. They don't even move like police move. They don't have the same movements. Watch how they hold the weapons that they have. Some of them not even using them. I don't think all of these people are agents. I really don't. That's my opinion. It's just my opinion. But all of them don't wear masks. Okay? That's why the ones that's wearing these masks, I don't believe they're all federal agents. I'm telling you, watch their movements. Watch their movements. See, I remember right before Memorial Day, these guys showed up in U-Haul trucks and flagpoles, and they look like them. It's just my opinion, but I don't think all of them are federal agents.
So now let's start today's video. Start today's lesson. And I hope once again that you will get edified. So now let's start here first. Let's go to Genesis chapter 49. Let's go there first because that's exactly what they're waiting on to Judah to rise up, the so-called, what they so-called African Americans, in which in fact we're not African American, we're not black. We are the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, the chosen people of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So that's exactly what they want. The Latinos and all this stuff they got going over this down in LA only, just like I said, it's a setup, but one thing about it is it's all by design of who? Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. The Lord is causing these things to happen. The white man's not in control. He's only doing the will of the Lord from the left-hand side. So we're not giving him any credit. But we knowing that he's trying, his inward thought that he will rule forever, but he's in for a rude awakening. So now let's start here. Salakia, Genesis chapter 49 and verse 9, it said, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. Said, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouches as a lion, and as a old lion, who shall rouse him up? So that's exactly what they're waiting for people of color, the black people, the black community to rise up. That's exactly what they're waiting on. So right now we're seeing just pretty much, few cars burning, and I'm seeing, probably breaking a little glass. This is just like the man said in the last, this lady said, everything is kind of controlled. We already knowing that they have crisis actors, a lot of things. That's why I open it up, with we're not ignorant of Satan devices. So, they trying, right now, they keep saying that they are not going to get involved, but some type of event is going to occur whereby all hell is going to break loose. And also we know that Judah is going to get it popping. All these other tribes going to join in. And when that happens, that's when the enemy will come in like a flood. You already know that military flood, the technology they already have like robotic dogs already on the streets of LA. So, it's just like a ticking time bomb, you know what I'm saying? So we already knowing that Jacob's trouble is imminent. It's going to happen, just like the Bible says. So who shall rise him up? You know what I'm saying? It's one event that will cause everything to fall like a domino effect. So we are very close. Let's go here. The prophet has constantly been warning you about this. So we seeing right now they're constantly plotting and planning. You know what I'm saying? Getting things together. And right now, we already know that the enemy is getting ready to strike. But when they strike, the Lord is going to strike right back. So let's go here. Psalm chapter 37, verse 12 said, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. So that's exactly what we're getting ready to see. And out of the Bible, we already know who is the wicked, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks. And it says against the just, who is that? It's talking about Israel. You know what I'm saying? Gnashes upon him with his teeth, talking about what his military might and also his technology. So we're seeing right now is what this man is getting everything set up. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing right now he's trying to set the snares or the trap. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, that we already knowing that it's going to go down. So one thing about it that we already knowing that he's constantly putting it right in your face. We knowing that this man exactly what he want. But one thing about it, we knowing that it's all going to be through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Let's read this once again. It says in the NLT, it said the wicked plots against the godly, their snares they snares at them in defense. So that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting everything into place. We seeing it, right before our eyes. And well, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we seeing it, man. We're very excited. Verse 13 said, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. That's right. It's coming very soon. The Lord, you know what I'm saying, is getting ready to bring forth that judgment. We see they getting ready to repay. He got bounds that he cannot pass. Verse 14, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Who is that? The elect. So one thing about it, we're seeing that the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent the bow. They locked ready to go. They ready to unalive a lot of people, but they're in for a rude awakening. And one thing about it, the Lord is going to deliver his elect. He's going to protect his elect. And one thing about it, we know that we're very close to these times right before our eyes. Verse 15 said, their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. That's exactly what's getting ready to happen. The Lord's getting ready, to disappoint him. His hands will not be able to perform his enterprise. The Lord's getting ready to cut him off. So now, let's go here to Jeremiah. Let's get this one out of Jeremiah. And let's see here. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 6. Let's start here. And it reads, said, flee out of the midst of Babylon. It said, deliver every man his soul. It said, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. So the Lord's getting ready to punish, Babylon, which in fact is American. How do you flee out of the midst of Babylon? Well, spiritually, this wisdom, this knowledge, this gospel. It shall sustain you in times of trouble. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Don't be partakers of, that's why it said, come out of her, my people. This is not your rest. Don't be partakers of her sin, because the Lord's getting ready to destroy this place. Verse 7, he said, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. Said the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So one thing about it, that golden cup, what is America, the number one superpower. Now we see that America is on the decline, and these nations are constantly rising up. Have you become weak as we? And one thing about it, we already know that the earth had drunken of her wine, what philosophy, what the democracy, that do thy will spirit. Now the nations are mad. They are beginning to find out that, that this place is finished. They're getting ready, they're constantly making new alliance. We seeing is, they get ready to come up against the whore, which in fact is America. They get ready to burn the whore. So that's exactly what we're seeing. So all nations, America has had a number one influence in all the nation. All nations want to come to America and become rich and do whatever they want to do. All sorts of do thy will spirit. Get rich, be gay, whatever. All sorts of sexual immorality, all sorts of abomination against Yahweh by Shema Shai. Everyone have drunk of the wine, have fornicated with the whore. Verse 8, Salaki said, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed, but she will not be healed. This place will never rise up again. It will be no inhabitant left here. The Lord is going to totally destroy this place. We cannot wait, DTA, a Bob, a ball, It have fallen and will never ever get back up again. We've seen these places that slowly were falling apart. Verse 9, it said, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not here. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto the heavens and is lifted up even to the sky. So exactly where we at. There's no turning back now. It is what it is. This place is going to be totally destroyed. The Lord is going to judge this place. You know what I'm saying? That's why right now, it's time to seek the Lord, because right now we're seeing that things is constantly lining up left and right. So we're constantly watching what's going on in LA. The Lord said it set a watchman to warn you of all these impending dangers, what's happening all around the world simultaneously. We keeping our eyes over there, what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Also now, once again, reports are coming in that they have attacked Sweden. So I'll probably do a report on that maybe tomorrow. But I want to touch on this a little bit more, because things are constantly heating up on the West Coast. And also we're seeing, the nation is divided, and it cannot withstand. We're seeing these things that happen left and right. So now let's drop down here to verse 12. Let's get this one here. It says here, Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 12, it says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord has both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So what now the Lord is setting up the ambushes, and the one thing about it, we know that they have already have these sleeper cells already here, different nations of young age military men are here right now, and they constantly letting them come in through the border. That's what that was all about. So this place is filled up with the enemy. And one thing about it, the Lord has set up the ambush. You know what I'm saying? The Lord has devised all these different things. So this place is going to be a attack from the within. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we already know that Russia, China, in collaboration with the UN, that they are going to come in here and totally tear this place to pieces. The downfall of America, the dismantling of America. So it's already has begun. And one thing about it, that if you can't see that we are living in the end time, then you're in for a rude awakening. You will be totally destroyed. So this is what's happening. The Lord is setting it up, the ambushes. So right now, at any given time, things here, you can just turn your flat screen, or you can watch your on your device. Every day is some type of event happening, more chaos. So I title today's lesson, More Chaos. That's exactly what we're seeing, order out of chaos. Exactly what he wants to bring forth that new system. Verse 13 says, O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundance in treasures, says, thy end is come, and the measure of thy covenants. It's talking about what? A Babylon the Great. As you know what I'm saying? Let's go here. Verse 12, it said, the Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. So that's exactly what the Lord is doing. We already know what a caterpillar do to a plant or to a leaf. It totally destroys it. They devour it. So that's what's getting ready to happen. So the enemy is here. The Lord, this place is filled with the enemy. In fact, we already knowing that they got a lot of them in LA, things are already set up. They set in the stage. You know what I'm saying? It started in LA. We already know it's going to go to other major cities, Chicago, New York, you know what I'm saying? What's the other one? Houston, Atlanta, New Orleans, a lot of these different places were heavily populated. Memphis, Tennessee, heavily populated area that people of color reside. Let's see here, verse 14 in the NLT says, the lords of heaven armies have taken this vow and has sworn to it by his own name. So your cities will be filled with enemies, fields of swarming, like fields swarming with locusts. So, and they will shout in triumph over you. So exactly what's getting ready to happen. So we know that America is going to be invaded from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? So we coming upon this. That also was rumors that Russia is moving their nuclear bombers off not too far off the coast of Alaska, so they're constantly getting closer and closer in our backyard, So we're seeing that right now. The stage is set. We're seeing right now the great multitude is kindling over us, left and right. So this place is getting ready to be taken. But it's gonna be by the hands of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. The Lord's gonna totally destroy this place. So he's filling this place up with the enemy, you know what I'm saying? These sleeper cells, these Gurga troops, you know what I'm saying? UN, what they call so-called peacekeeping troop, but we already know they're not coming for peace. There will be no peace, you know what I'm saying? Total destruction. That's what's coming. So that lady said in the video, with the one that was crying, I think it was the second video, talking about all she wanted to look at for peace. You know what I'm saying? You shall seek for peace, but there shall be none. So we're not upon no peaceful time. We're rather upon war time. We're rather upon what judgment, like we have never seen before. So now let's go to our last and final script. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 59. Isaiah chapter 59, because this is exactly what the enemy is getting ready to do. But the Lord's going to lift up that standard. We cannot wait. The Lord's going to be with us, man. The Lord's getting ready to do so many wonderful, great and powerful things, Amen. We're here, man. We're so very excited. Let's go here. Isaiah chapter 59, and we close out here at verse 19 said, and so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. So when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And out about that enemy, you know what I'm saying? It's going to come in like a flood, what that military flood, but the Lord's going to lift up that standard, a way to escape, supernatural intervention. You know what I'm saying? When you go to Daniel chapter 12 and 1, Archangel Michael is going to stand up for the children of Israel. So the Lord's going to help us. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said, my servant shall eat, they shall be hungry. My servant shall drink, they shall be thirsty. So the Lord's going to protect us in those times of trouble. Once again, let's read this once again. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west. It's talking about what? America, Babylon the Great. And his glory from the rising of the sun. That's talking about what? The east. The sun rises in the east. When the enemy shall come in like a flood. So who is the enemy? This talking about what? Starting with Esau, Edom, and also these heathen nations, also these goddamn wicked two-third coming like a flood. So we already seeing right now he's using his military might already had activated 700 Marines in LA. You know what I'm saying? So this is just the beginning. So he said, but it says here, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard. So the Lord is going to intervene on our behalf. The Lord is going to use this supernatural intervention. The Lord is going to come forth with his great glory and his great power. So we don't have anything to worry about, but constantly trust and believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we constantly seeing these prophecies are constantly lining up. We're seeing that things are speaking right now. We're so very close any given day, so we're it's right at the door. And one thing about it, we're gonna constantly see these things constantly pick up, more escalations. We're gonna see more nations rising up against nation. We're going to constantly see civil unrest. Things are getting ready to spiral out of control. Jacob's trouble is very close at hand, the beginning of sorrow. So we're here. So the title of today's lesson, once again, is More Chaos. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.